interviewing Zoe, who's one of our elite trainers on the Academy. She's one of everybody's favourite trainers, and she's our leadership and motivation management specialist. So we're going to find out a little bit more about Zoe's business. So first of all, Zoe, tell us about your background, because it's very varied, isn't it?
It certainly is. Well, I've had Chartwell for about 20 years, and I set that business up, which is training, coaching, leadership development, when I came back from Hong Kong, because I had worked out there for 4 years in the Far East, Hong Kong and Singapore. Before that, I had 4 years living in Greece, doing the Shirley Valentine bit. And before that, I was a teacher in secondary school. So it's been a sort of progression through. And I suppose within Chartwell, over the last 20 years, it's moved from very specific training courses through into more facilitation, into more now very bespoke, focused leadership work and coaching.
Fantastic. So what made you take the leap when you came back from Hong Kong and Singapore and set up on your own?
I was unemployable. I didn't fit any box. That was basically it. I mean, I'd left England career-wise as a teacher, and I'd moved and shifted into a number of different roles, going much more into training with HSBC. Then got to head up a management training department within the bank. When I came back to the UK, I didn't tick any particular box with the employers, because they didn't know what being an HR manager might mean if it was in Hong Kong or whatever. And so basically the job centre said, I think you're going to have to go self-employed. So it wasn't a conscious choice. Having said that, when I look back, I think I was actually always much more suited to running my own business than I was to being a full-time employee for somebody else.
So what are some of the tips that you perhaps picked up with that experience in Greece and Hong Kong and Singapore, and then the time that you've had in Chartwell?
I think it's getting that breadth of experience in lots of different businesses. The most valuable in one way was actually the corporate experience with HSBC, which is the main work out there, and to see what it means to work for a very, very good corporation, but also to then be working within small businesses and with individuals, that it's the individual first rather than the corporation, I think, whereas in the bigger companies you can get lost a bit. So in terms of the leadership work I do, I'm always working from the inside out, from the individual out, and actually I think I learned that in Greece, where it was all very individual.
Absolutely. And you've just been back, was it Greece that you've just come back to?
Andalusia, I've just come back from, hence the relaxed holiday mode I'm still in. I've been out to Greece. I was out to Greece last year, and it's changed a lot. They're facing big economic challenges now.
Absolutely. So what are your top tips for our Academy delegates when it comes to the leadership of their business?
I'd say the first thing is be yourself, and that's not easy. I think, as we all know, we sort of try to work, you start out in business and you think, well, that's how it ought to be because I see somebody doing the job, and that's how the rules are that say we should be like this to be professional, to be X, Y and Z. But it can be quite a strain. I found it a huge strain, for instance, to wear suits, because I'm not a suit person. And when I put the suit on, I became a different person, but it wasn't me. So I'd say the first thing is be yourself. Don't be afraid to be passionate about what you believe in. And that's not about being an extrovert or anything. It's just about being able to articulate what you believe in, because in leadership, we follow with our hearts as well as our minds. Know your values. You know, Joanne, how much I talk about that. Because as you develop and grow your business and the culture of your business, you want to attract people that share those values, so the more clear you can be on with them and develop a culture. Some of the biggest problems I find when I'm coaching people is sometimes the individual leaders' values don't match and overlay onto the culture, and often that on the business that can cause problems. And again, to be absolutely sure of where you're going. I mean, you're a classic example of this, where you've got an idea of what you want to grow and develop, but it's to keep revisiting it because your vision does shift and change. And if you combine it with your values and your passion and you can communicate that, then I think you can become a really effective and inspiring leader.
Fantastic, some great tips in there. As I said, Zoe's one of our favourite trainers. We always get fantastic feedback from Zoe's courses, so hopefully some useful tips will be put into place in your business. Okay.